Hello everyone, my name is Tsabitah Maritza Furat and I am from the 3B BIKBP class. So today I am going to show you a case study about a massive crisis in sea freight export. So I believe that nowadays you use your vehicle like car, like motorcycle, and then of course you tend to rely on fuel, right? So everything that we use in terms of fuel we use depends on global trade routes. But what happens when the most important route in the world is suddenly padlocked or like getting blocked? So today I'm going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz crisis. I have breakdown into like 4 points, 4 main points. So let's jump into the first sections. So the first sections talk about the year, what year this problem happened. So the crisis happened in the 2026, and everything started on the February 28th when the conflict first broke out. So since then, it has been a struggle for over a month, lasting until April 3rd, and as for today. And the situation is still ongoing until today. And for shipping companies, this has been a month of total uncertainty where every day feels like a gamble. And then the second sections, we talk about the locations. Where did this problem happen? Like where exactly the locations happened? So the location is Strait of Hormuz. So geographically, it is located between Iran and Oman. So the specific area of conflict is within the Iranian territorial waters. And I have input the accurate map of those problem happen. So you can see it. That's accurate, like the locations where the problems happen. So in the CP world, this is a choke point um, because also it is so narrow that if the country controlling the waters decide to stop the traffic, so the entire world feels the impact like immediately. Now we move to the next sections, which is which is the problem. So these are the problem that they have, the cause of the problem. I mean, the first is geopolitical war. So this conflict led to the effective blocking of the strait. It's not just a ordinary delay, like it's a wall. And then the second is the economic impact. So this is very huge. About 20% of global oil and LNG supplies were held up. So when half of the world's energy cannot move, the economy will drop, like start to shake and drop. And then the next cause is the next problem, I mean, is energy crisis. Because the supply stopped, so the global fuel prices skyrocketed like worldwidely. So for sea freight, it means that the cost of running a ship doubled or even tripled only in weeks. And then we move to the next point, which is trade paralysis. Um, the data is shocking. So only 150 vessels transited in only like 1 month. Usually there are thousands. So this is an 80% plus drop in traffic. So the sea was practically empty. And then um the problem is Western blockade. So Iranian forces specifically blocked Western ships from safe passage. This created a massive discriminations in global trade. So if you were on a Western ship, you were getting stuck and you cannot move. And then what is the solutions that they have provided? So the first is that they have diplomatic signaling. So ships like the Kribi changed their destination data to owner friends. This was a signal to tell Iran their nationality so they wouldn't be attacked. And then the second is tactical stealth. So vessels started switching off, like vessels started switching off their AIS transponders. So they went dark to avoid being tracked or detected by hostile forces. And then the next strategy is they use strategic neutrality. So companies started using Oman linked and Asian vessels like from China or like from India because these countries were seen as neutral and allowed to pass. And then the next is diplomatic coalitions. So there are French-led efforts to build an international coalitions to guarantee free passage for all ships again. And then the next is proposed deal. So there is a proposed deal on the table, trading nuclear curbs and sanctions reliefs in exchange for reopening the strait permanently. So um, we come to the conclusions that this case study shows that sea freight is not just about moving cargo, it's about surviving geopolitics as well. So from February to April 2026, we saw how a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz could paralyze the world and how stealth and diplomacy become the only way, become the only way to keep the ships moving. So that's all from my explanations about case in the Strait of Hormuz. I hope that my explanations could give you insight about what happened in the sea freight in terms of Strait of Hormuz. So thank you so much for your attentions.